So that's just the first chorus, and there's a couple of the things throughout the song that I want to show you, and then we can kind of just talk about big picture, different lessons that I learned from the song that I hope that you can take away. But let's go into verse 2. One of the things that I've noticed about verse 2, whether it be as a producer, a songwriter, an artist, verse 2 is just hard because I feel like verse 1, it's kind of setting the scene, you're kind of getting the wheels rolling. Chorus 1 is sort of your first big statement, and then a lot of times you get to verse 2 and it's like, okay, what do we do here? Whether it's what lyrics do we write about, what part of the story do we write lyrically now that we've already kind of set the scene, or maybe production wise, it's what's that new one or two elements that are going to help keep the song progressing. Verse 2 as a whole can just be a pain. So I think it's really important to just be intentional about verse 2s as a whole, is how can you retain kind of the energy that you established in verse 1 and chorus 1, but add a couple of little nuggets or Easter eggs here or there that make it feel like it's going somewhere new, and it's building throughout the rest of the song. So for me, one little kind of cheat I can give you is I love to use a second acoustic guitar in country music. I think a lot of the times you have that main acoustic guitar that's just kind of playing chords. I like to grab an acoustic guitar and put a capo on it and bring it up so it's in a higher register. And then obviously you're going to have to change the chords you're playing. You're going to have to transpose it. But I like to do some kind of high textures on acoustic guitar. And for me, that just gives it a little shimmer. That just gives it a little extra something. And also just the pick movement. It gives it kind of a percussive thing, almost like a shaker, that I think makes verse 2 feel like it's going somewhere else that verse 1 didn't. So let me show you what I mean by that. I already showed you this acoustic guitar from Cam, but here's kind of the main acoustic guitar. It's that big open tuning. It's got that really nice, deep, warm feeling to it. So, kind of like I talked about with the pads, to my ear, that's sort of a lower, warmer thing that's occupying the lower frequencies. And so for me, I thought, okay, what can we do in acoustic guitar with a capo that's going to move it up out of that register so they're not stepping on each other, but it's going to give us more of that high end sort of shimmer and, like I said, that sort of percussive movement with the pick. And so I went in and I went and tracked this acoustic guitar part that I think complements the main one really nicely. So here's what it sounds like. So you notice, I mean, that right there, I'm not even playing the chords. I'm just kind of playing sort of this motif thing over the chords on the one chord. And I'm messing around with adding the little add to. And then I go to the 7. So I'm kind of just messing with different little tensions I like within the chord. And I'm not actually moving with the root movement of the song. That's what bass is for. So bass is kind of setting that foundation for me, and then I can, on this acoustic guitar, kind of just mess around with different tensions and colors that I like. So here's what these two acoustic guitars sound like together. So here's what this verse would sound like without that second acoustic guitar I just showed you.
She sent me signals from above via satellite buzz. Then it all went quiet.
It still sounds great, but something about adding that little extra acoustic guitar part just moves this forward so much, to my ear at least.
She sent me signals from above via satellite buzz. Then it all went quiet. I put the light on in the hall, left the TV on.
So that's just a little tip. There's a million things you can do on verse 2, but for me in country, adding a second sort of what I call auxiliary acoustic guitar. You can hear it named on you can see it right here named in my session, aux acoustic. For me, that's just a really good way to kind of lift things up a bit energy-wise and keep it pushing throughout the rest of the song.